The second day of the retreat that brings together members of the cabinet as well as senior members of the executive as the government tries to evaluate their performance the last 1 year and what the next year portends for the country and indeed the administration. This morning we've seen President William Ruto meet with members of the cabinet as well as the representatives of Council of Governors who are here to make a presentation before the members of the executive on how the relations will improve between the members of the executive as the other 47 county. And of course, you remember part of the complaints you've heard from governors is the late disbursement of funds that was late, particularly the tranche that was supposed to be disbursed about 2 months ago. And these are some of the issues they have been able to iron out. Of course, we've not been able to engage any of the governors just yet because the meeting is not well concluded, but we'll be engaging them in a bit also to get to understand the finer details of the conversations they've had. The UDA party is also here, and they're also going to have a presentation before the members of the executive today. Kenya Kwanza administration, and he says it's quite an elaborate manifesto that once fully implemented, it will mean the turnaround of the economic fortunes of a country and what needs to happen in the country. And you will remember the custodian of that manifesto, particularly the UDA manifesto, is the UDA party under Secretary General Cleopas Malala. And of course, with the officials, the national officials of the party, they are inside the house you see behind me, where the members of the executive led by President William Ruto are at. And the deliberations will go on for the entire day with different stakeholders making the presentations before the members of the executive led by the president. And then the meeting concludes later on tomorrow. And therefore, this is, like I said yesterday, is a meeting that goes on for 3 days. It started yesterday, first of all, the joint retreat between members of the executive and members of the National Assembly and the Senate, drawn from the Kenya Kwanza side. This time, stakeholders like the Council of Governors as well as the UDA party making their presentations. And of course, the cabinet now continues with its deliberations alongside PSAs and other senior members of the executive. Of course, once we get a hold of a few governors here and there, we'll be coming back to you, Abdiaziz, for more. But for now, let me hand you back to Abdiaziz to continue with News Check. We'll be coming back later once we get to grab a few governors really to tell us the crux of the conversation they've had with the president this morning.
Thank you so much. That is our senior political affairs reporter, John Jacob Kiro, who has been covering the cabinet retreat. Yesterday, you've just heard from Johnny was talking about members of parliament before the president, and today the cabinet will be touching on an array of matters that will be ensuring that they are running the country properly and other outstanding matters that the cabinet are expected to handle. Yesterday, it was the D-Day for the legislators, where even saw the president even urging them to consider passing the affordable housing bill that we do anticipate to be debated and finalized by the end of this week or even next week, given that we do anticipate the legislators to be flocking back to the floor of the House this afternoon. You do know that the affordable housing bill is one of the pinnacles of the Kenya Kwanza administration, and the president is banking on that so that to create job employment and of course ensure there is decent housing, given that we have over 2,000 slums in the country, not just the ones you know in Nairobi as well. Let me get to introduce